My name is Sorrel. The night my maid of honor betrayed me, the florist tied my bouquet with a white ribbon that looked like a promise you should never make. The ballroom glittered. The string lights were patient stars. Guests floated across a floor that smelled like sugared oranges and polished wood. Every detail matched my childhood scrapbook except one thing. The bride. Me. I had spent months stitching a dream from invoices and mood boards. I thought I knew my cast. My groom, Caleb, with his careful hands and confident voice. My maid of honor, Ava, who swore on late-night pizza that she would guard my heart like her own. My family. Our friends. A future in soft gold ink. At rehearsal, Caleb kissed my forehead and whispered, "Almost there." Ava fixed my veil and said, "You deserve a movie ending." When she smiled, I believed her. 2 hours later, I stood in the bridal suite with my dress half-zipped and my phone buzzing like a trapped bee in a glass jar. A text from an unknown number slid across the screen. "You deserve to know. Room 412. Now." A hotel room. Our venue had rooms on the upper floors for out-of-town guests. I stared at the message. My spine chilled the way mirrors chill when truth walks in. I should have ignored it. I should have handed the phone to the planner. I should have breathed. Instead, I left my shoes by the door, lifted my skirt, and ran. The hallway on the 4th floor smelled like new carpet and old secrets. I placed my palm on the handle of room 412. My heart counted like a metronome learning a cruel song. I knocked once. No answer. I tried the handle. It opened. The room was dim. The curtain was half drawn. City light spilled like a confession. I heard water. The bathroom door was cracked. Steam curled through the gap. Laughter did too. Not mine. Not his. Hers. Ava. I did not push the door. I did not scream. I stood very still and listened to the sounds that change a life. Caleb's cadence, low and sure. Ava's soft murmur, the same one she used when she said she would hold my bouquet and my back. I stepped away before they saw me. I walked down the hall the way a person walks after stepping on glass. Careful. Straight. Bleeding where no one can see. In the elevator, a family in bright clothes smiled at me. "Congratulations," the mother said. I nodded. The elevator chimed. I almost laughed. The bell sounded like a tiny bell at the start of a boxing match. Back in the suite, the planner fussed with centerpieces on her tablet. The makeup artist dabbed gloss on a bridesmaid. My mother clipped a stray thread from my train. I placed my phone face down and said nothing. I looked at myself in the mirror. My face was the face of a bride. My eyes were the eyes of a witness. There is a moment when your life splits. One path goes on, trembling but intact. The other path burns and you walk through it anyway. I chose the fire. I tied my ribbon tighter. I sat very still. And I called a person who knows how to hold things that break. "Aunt Delia," I whispered when she answered. "Come to the chapel vestibule." "Alone?" "Now?" she asked. "Now," I said. I hung up. I exhaled. I watched the door. I counted the seconds like beads on a string I would never wear again. When the door opened, it would be Aunt Delia. It would be my compass. It would be the beginning of the end. And the end of the beginning. I told her. Not the screams. Not the steam. The facts. Room number. Voices. Timing. The text. Delia listened like a ledger listens. She did not gasp. She did not stroke my hair. She set her purse down and said, "We will not set this on fire. We will set it in order." "How?" I asked. "First," she said, "we confirm. Then we decide. Then we act where witnesses cannot rewrite." She pulled a tiny pouch from her bag. Inside lay a slender silver hairpin with a flattened head. "You bought the fancy photographer," she said. "I will be the unglamorous one." She tucked the pin into my hand. "Old trick. Fit for a hinge. Never for a heart." I stared. "We are not breaking in," she said. "We are not breaking the law. We are opening a door already ajar. Keep your phone on video. Keep your voice off." "Caleb will see me," I said. "Then he will see what he chose," she said. I wanted to curl up on the floor and go quiet for a year. Instead, I stood. I slid into flats. I draped a shawl over the dress so no one would point and ask questions I could not answer. I took the elevator with Delia. Together we walked the hall like women who have remembered they are very, very old in the ways that keep you alive. At the door, the light had shifted. The shower was off. Muffled voices. Footsteps. Delia nodded once. "Hold," she whispered. "If the door opens, you step back. If the door stays closed, you leave. Either way, you have already heard enough." The knob turned. The door cracked. A slice of room. A sliver of Ava's hair. Caleb's shirt on a chair. My stomach hollowed. A hotel cart rolled by. "Housekeeping." The attendant glanced at us, smiled, passed. The air thinned. I pressed record. A shape crossed the sliver. Ava's hand. A ring on her finger that was not hers. My ring, tried for size, weeks ago, when we drank champagne on the floor and she said, "It is perfect on you." Delia touched my wrist. A soft anchor. "Enough," she mouthed. We stepped away. We turned the corner. We walked down the hall and into a stairwell that smelled like paint and possibility. "Do we cancel?" I asked. "No," she said. "We pause. We move pieces. We tell the truth once. Publicly. Then we walk away with our head and our spine." "Here?" I said. "In front of everyone?" "Not here," she said. "At the toast." I stared. "I cannot give a toast." "You can read a statement," she said. "And you can decide what happens to the venue, the contracts, and the money he promised and did not protect." "How?" My voice sounded like linen being torn down the middle. Delia took out her phone. "I am calling Tamsin," she said. "She handles event contracts. Her firm sits above the small print like a hawk. And I am calling Nico. Tech friend. Gentle soul. Knows how to mirror a phone to a screen when the screen is waiting for a slideshow of childhood photos." "Delia," I whispered. "I will break my mother's heart." "Your mother's heart will break either way," she said softly. "Let it break on the truth, not on the lie." She made the calls. Tamsin answered with a pen already clicking. "Force majeure?" she asked. "No. Fraud. Misrepresentation. If the groom engaged in conduct that undermines the marital contract before execution, your client is entitled to halt and seek restitution from his portion of the payments." She paused. "Did you pay deposits from a joint account?" "No," I said. "From mine. Caleb promised to reimburse after his bonus cleared." "Documented?" she asked. "In texts," I said. "Download them," she said. "Forward now. We will prepare a demand letter for immediate tender back. Also, the venue contract has a moral clause. It is archaic, but it exists. If the couple acts in a manner that brings the event into disrepute, the venue may release dates without penalty if the injured party requests." "That would be you." "Why would I release?" I asked. "Because," Delia said, "you might not cancel. You might convert." "Convert what?" "Tonight," she said. "Into a different story." My breath caught. "A party without a wedding?" "A truth party," she said. With witnesses, with receipts, with a microphone that does not tremble. The stairwell door opened above us. Footsteps. Laughter. A bridesmaid. Not Ava. You two okay? She asked. Yes, Delia said, voice bright as a bell. Just hunting a sewing kit. We have one downstairs, the bridesmaid said, and trotted away. Delia squeezed my hand. You will not go alone, she said. I will stand beside you. Tamsin will sit in the second row. Nico will be at the projector. And the person who texted you will stand where we can see them. Who? I asked. We will find out, she said. I nodded. It was not courage. It was gravity. I stepped back into the hall and into the kind of light that knows how to show a person and spare them at the same time. 30 minutes feels like a lifetime when you are breaking one. I walked back to the suite. My reflection followed like a ghost that still believes. The planner clapped. The stylist cheered. My mother pressed cool hands to my cheeks. Nerves? She asked. Resolve, I said. Delia slipped into the corner with Tamsin on speaker. Send the payment proof, Tamsin said. Screenshots. Bank transfers. The florist invoice. I opened my email. I forwarded everything. The screen blurred. I blinked tears back like a soldier rubbing rain from their eyes. No smear. No smudge. Just the work. A knock. Caleb. He stepped in, beautiful and precise, a bow tie sitting at his throat like a secret. He kissed my knuckles. You look like everything, he said. I saw steam. Where were you? I asked. Fixing a groomsman pocket square, he said. Delia smiled as if pockets were the reason light flickers. Run along, Caleb, she said kindly. Give the bride a minute. He left. The room expanded and contracted. I exhaled once. Twice. The way divers exhale to avoid blackouts. Speech, Delia whispered. Keep it under 3 minutes. Use straight sentences. No metaphors. You are not trying to move them. You are trying to nail boards. I wrote. Friends. Family. Thank you for coming. Tonight is not a wedding. Tonight is truth. This is not a performance. This is a correction. I listed facts. I added timestamps. Room 412. Voices. Ring. I kept my voice in my hands like an egg you cannot afford to drop. Nico arrived with a lean smile and a coil of cable. Projector is ready, he said. Do you want slides? I want a mirror, I said. A live one. He nodded. We will cast your phone. No one can claim doctored images. He lowered his voice. I am sorry, Sorrel. Me too, I said. The string quartet tuned. The air brightened. The ballroom hummed. The coordinator floated in. We are 2 minutes to wedding party lineup, she sang. Change, Delia said gently. Sorrel needs 5 minutes at the mic before processional. The coordinator blinked. That is not legal requirement, Tamsin said from the phone with the tone lawyers use when they are also human. A formal notice to guests. Notice of what? The coordinator whispered. Change of contract, Tamsin said. The coordinator swallowed. I will inform the band. A bridesmaid slipped in. Not Ava. Juniper, freckles like a constellation across a serious face. You okay? She asked me. Hold your answer, Delia said to me. Then to Juniper, would you stand at the back of the stage, left side, when Sorrel speaks? Juniper straightened. Of course. Also, Delia said, have you seen Ava? Juniper's eyes went thin. Not since lunch, she said. Her phone keeps going to voicemail. Thank you, Delia said. Juniper squeezed my arm. I have you, she whispered. People say betrayal makes the world tilt. It does not. It makes the floor very level. You see who can stand without grabbing the nearest chair. The doors to the ballroom opened. Music rose. Guests turned. We moved to the hidden wing near the stage. My breath slowed. My hands cooled. Nico crouched by the projector. Delia placed a small box in my palm. What is this? I asked. Your ring, she said. It belongs in your pocket until you decide otherwise. Not on anyone's finger. Not even your own. Footsteps. Laughter. Caleb's voice. Ava's perfume before she arrives. She materialized like a lie that loves light. Hair glossy. Dress perfect. Smile untouchable. Her eyes slid over me as if I were an object that used to be hers. Ready, bride? She asked, and her voice placed a hand on my throat. I lifted my chin. So ready, I said. The bandleader lifted a hand. The room hushed. I stepped onto the stage, not as a bride in a corridor of lace, but as a woman with a microphone and a clock. Family. Friends, I said. Thank you for being here. We need to begin with clarity. The first slide appeared. The venue logo. The date. The contract clause Tamsin highlighted. A murmur rippled. Caleb frowned politely. Ava tilted her head, curious cat. I looked at them both. Then I looked at everyone else. This event is changing, I said. This is no longer a wedding. This is a statement of fact. The room inhaled. A sound like 100 ribbons tightening at once. I kept my voice even. This image was captured today inside room 412 on the 4th floor at this venue. The hand wearing my ring does not belong to me. I did not call Ava's name. I did not need to. The ring gleamed. Her manicure gave her away. She had posted a salon story 2 days ago. Pale blush. Tiny gold star on the ring finger. It flashed now like a flare over water. Before any vows are spoken, I said, I must tell the truth. My partner and my maid of honor met privately before the ceremony. I have evidence of intimate conduct. I have legal counsel. I will not proceed with a wedding under these conditions. Caleb stepped forward, palms up like a man soothing a horse. Sorrel, he said. Please. This is a misunderstanding. Of which part? I asked. The room? The ring? Or the timing that you will attempt to shrink? Ava laughed, light as a feather that used to be a bird. You are overwhelmed, she said sweetly. It is a big day. You know I help everyone with last-minute details. Earrings. Cufflinks. Breath. Room 412 has a shower, I said. Cufflinks do not require steam. A man at a back table stood up. He lifted a hand. I sent the text, he said. Everyone turned. It was the bartender from rehearsal dinner. Tall. Steady eyes. I am Lake, he added, as if his name should mean something simple. I was delivering a bottle to the bridal party room next door. I saw them go in. I heard. I felt wrong not to say something. He looked at me, not at the crowd. I am sorry. I nodded. The truth does not need to shout when a stranger carries it like a tray. Caleb's face rearranged its muscles. We only talked, he said. It was a mistake. But only talking. The ring, I said. Ava stared at the screen. Her smile thinned like a ribbon pulled until it frays. She asked me to keep it safe, she said. She always takes it off when she washes her hands. I reminded her. Juniper, at stage left, stepped forward. She lifted her phone. That is not true, she said quietly. I held Sorrel's ring while she tried on her shoes at 2. She kept it after. It never left her finger. Until now. The room changed shape. People leaned forward as if gravity had shifted a few degrees. You could feel the narrative tilt, slow but certain. I lifted the next slide. A timeline. Check bins. Elevator logs. Tamsin had pulled what she could in 20 minutes with a paralegal speed. We will resolve this privately, I said, after an orderly exit. Caleb shook his head. You cannot do this to us. Us? The way cowards bundle themselves with the person they broke. I am not doing anything to you, I said. I am stopping you from doing more to me. A voice called from the mother of the groom table. This is indecent, Caleb's mother hissed. You humiliate my son. Delia faced her calmly. Your son wrote the script, she said. We are simply changing the ending. Security moved quietly to the edges. The coordinator whispered into her headset, voice thin as thread pulled through a needle that has already sewn too much. A journalist cousin raised a hand. Do you want this off the record? He asked. Yes, I said. Because this is not a scandal. This is a boundary. A pause. Then scattered applause. Not wild. Not cruel. Just human, 2 beats slow, then stronger. The sound landed like a blanket over ice. I turned to Ava. Return the ring. She slid her fingers into the pocket of Caleb's jacket. The ring clicked against the mic stand like a coin that will not buy back what it broke. I put the ring in Delia's box. I shut the lid. Final, I said. Wait, Caleb blurted. We can still. No, I said. We cannot still anything. Ava's eyes hardened. For a moment I saw the girl who sat on my dorm room floor and swore she would never betray another woman because of what her father taught her by leaving. Then I saw the adult she had chosen to be. A person who wants the center of the room so much she will cut the room to fit. I looked at the crowd. Please enjoy the food. The bar is paid. The band is paid. The dance floor is yours. Think of this as a celebration of clarity. I stepped off the stage. I faced him. No, I said. I will not. He smiled without teeth. You used your account for deposits, he murmured. You told me you would cover until my bonus. No bonus. No reimbursements. You leave. You lose. Tamsin, Delia called softly, like a cue. The lawyer stood. Suited. Serene. A brief statement, she said to the room. Contracts name an injured party. The injured party tonight is the bride. Misrepresentation voids obligations. The venue acknowledges a moral clause. Vendors have been notified that payments from the groom are expected to cure the bride's advances. A demand letter has already been sent to the groom's legal email. Caleb's jaw tightened. You hired a lawyer for your wedding? I hired a seatbelt, I said. Because I knew who I was marrying. The words surprised me with their honesty. They surprised him with their accuracy. Ava laughed. This is melodrama, she said loudly, appealing to the room. Sorrel has always been sensitive. The word hung there. Sensitive. A blade disguised as silk. Juniper stepped closer to the mic. Sensitive saved us when the florist sent the wrong peonies, she said. Sensitive caught the shellfish in the salad when my allergy would have sent me to the hospital. Sensitive hears lies before they become vows. The room adjusted again. I watched something tip inside people's eyes, the small hinge between doubt and respect. Caleb looked around like a man trying to remember where doors usually are. Mom, he said. His mother stood, elegant, angry. This is a family matter, she snapped. We will discuss it privately. Tamsin lifted one shoulder. That would have been wise 2 hours ago, she said. Right now, the bride has made a public statement to witnesses to protect her name against later fabrication. She glanced at me. We go quiet now, she murmured. Let the crowd do the math. I nodded. The band eased into a soft instrumental. Guests rose like people after a storm checking for branches. Some hugged me. Some squeezed my hand. Some looked at Caleb and then quickly away, as if his suit had turned to smoke. Delia took me to a side room with velvet chairs and a window that looked like a painting of city light. Breathe, she said. She poured water. She placed it in my hands. Sip. I sipped. The glass hummed against my teeth. I set it down. Now what? I asked. We decide what to save, she said. The dress? I asked. Not things, she said gently. Moments. What is there to save? I asked. You, she said. And how you leave. She brought up a checklist Tamsin had texted. Collect favors. Redirect gifts to a charity. Arrange rides for elderly guests. Ask the band to change the set to Joy Without Romance. Move the cake to the lobby for anyone who came hungry for sweetness and deserves some. It read like a script for ending with dignity. We set it in motion. Juniper handled the cake. Nico dimmed the slideshow. The coordinator moved centerpieces to tables where couples who had survived decades could sit and talk and remember their own pivots. The bartender named Lake poured with gentle speed. He avoided Caleb's side of the room. I returned to the ballroom. It glowed differently. Not a wedding. A gathering. People danced. Laughed. Comforted. Watched. Ava came toward me, fury riding under a smile. You will regret this, she said. You will be the woman who staged a circus. I prefer the word courtroom, I said. She leaned in. Caleb does not love you, she hissed. He told me you are a project. That he had to carry you. The sentence should have shattered me. Instead, it organized me. It turned the mess into a map. You just told me, I said calmly, what you needed to hear so you could sleep. She blinked. What? Enjoy the bar, I said, and walked away. Delia met my eye. She touched her watch. 10 minutes, she mouthed. Then we exit. Where? I mouthed back. Not home, she said. He will follow. We go to my house. We change the locks in the morning. My phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number again. He used your card to book the room. Check your bank now. I felt the floor tilt for real. I opened my app. A charge. Room 412. Same day. My name. A receipt like a slap. I turned the screen to Delia. She nodded once. We add fraud, she said. And we get the print at the front desk now, while the clerk still believes in receipts more than in excuses. The clerk frowned. We need the cardholder present to contest, he said gently. I am the cardholder, I said, placing my license beside the folio. This signature is not mine. Behind me, the band's bass trembled through the floor like a heart you can feel in your feet. Delia leaned in, voice low and kind but shaped like law. Please make a copy. We will not argue here. We will not raise voices. We will gather. He nodded. He copied. He handed us a stamped print. We can flag the charge, he added. We can also note the time the room key was made. Please, Delia said. I looked at the signature. Ava had always made her a like a paper airplane. We walked back toward the doors. Caleb stood in the entryway like a statue that wants to be a man again. Come back in, he said. We can talk. We will, I said, through counsel. He laughed sharp. You brought a lawyer to our wedding, he repeated, as if the repetition could make it a crime. I brought a witness because I learned who you are, I said. He stared. You have always been dramatic. It is not drama to stand up, I said. It is gravity. Ava joined him, perfume first. You love a stage, she said to me. I gave you one. You gave me a door, I said. I walked through it. Juniper appeared by my shoulder. Car is ready, she whispered. Back entrance. Delia nodded. We leave now, she said. We say goodbye to your mother. We go. We file. I found my mother by the silent slideshow. Her face was pale with shock and warm with pride. I am sorry, she whispered. For what you lost. I am not lost, I said. I am here. She pulled me into her arms. The hug was a home I thought I had outgrown. I had not. We will sort the gifts, she said. We will call the aunts. We will keep the people who kept you. Thank you, I said. We slipped through the service hallway. We stepped into the night. The air felt like a clean sheet. Juniper opened the car door. I will follow you, she said. Text me if he tries to come close. He will, Delia said. But he will stop when he sees the neighbors and the porch light. We drove. The city moved around us like a river that had seen worse and still flowed. Delia's phone pinged. Tamsin again. Card dispute opened. Demand sent. Venue agrees to support bride's statement if press contacts. That last line loosened something in my jaw I did not realize I had been clenching. At the house, Delia brewed tea the way she does when someone is bleeding inside. Measured. Gentle. Hot. Sleep here, she said. Your room is the one with the quilt you always pretend is too bright. I laughed. It cracked into a sob and then mended back into a laugh. Thank you, I said. Tomorrow, she said, we see a judge. For what? I asked. Emergency protective order, she said. Not because he hit. Because he will try to move money or property or narrative. We freeze what can be frozen. We let the rest burn if it must. I texted my landlord, a woman who bakes bread for tenants on holidays and sides with fairness. Please do not let Caleb into the apartment without me. I will retrieve my items with a friend tomorrow. She replied within a minute. Of course. I am sorry, Sorrel. Keys will be changed on your word. I lay in bed and watched the ceiling shift with street light. I expected dreams full of fog and doors. Instead, I slept like a child after a long noise finally stops. Morning came clean. Delia drove us to the courthouse. The clerk at civil filings wore a scarf with sunflowers and a nod that said she had handed strength to women for years. Temporary protective order. Credit freeze. Notice of disputed charge. The words looked dry. They tasted like water. As we left, Caleb called. I let it ring. He texted. Talk to me. He texted again. We can fix this. Then, if you make me look bad, I will. He did not finish the sentence. He did not need to. I saved the messages. I forwarded them to Tamsin. She replied, thank you. Pattern of coercion helps. We returned to the apartment with Juniper. The landlord met us with new keys. My living room looked like the still life of a person who almost married. Shoes under the couch. Stationery on the table. Garlands on a chair like snakes that had gotten tired. I packed with quiet hands. Juniper labeled boxes. She hummed a song with no words and a spine. My phone buzzed again. A new number. You do not know me. My name is Rowan. I am Ava's coworker. Check her social. She has a private story. The link opened. A video. Ava's laugh. A shot of a bare shoulder. A caption, he belongs to me. The date stamp was last week. The location tag was the hotel bar 2 blocks from our apartment. The floor did not fall. It steadied. All pieces clicked. Delia looked at me. Do you want to sue her too? She asked. No, I said. She wants the stage. I will give her a mirror. I walked the empty ballroom 2 weeks later. No altar. No rose. Tables with white cloths and small blue cards that read, "You can leave and still arrive." The venue manager clasped my hand. "We are sorry," she said. "We are proud." Delia wore a navy dress with a quiet shine. Juniper wore a suit that made her look like the person you call when the boat is taking water and you want calm hands on the rope. Tamsin arrived with a smile and a folder. Nico set the light to something that does not blur faces into forgiveness. Guests flowed in. Some were friends. Some were strangers. One woman brought a bouquet and set it on the bar like an offering to a god that finally remembered her name. Another woman brought her daughter and pointed at the stage and whispered, "See. We do not stay when the door is a mouth." The program was simple. Music. A short talk. A pledge to fund a shelter's kitchen renovation. Then dancing to songs that do not lie. At 7, the manager pulled me aside. "There is a man at the back," she said. "He is being silent in a loud way." Caleb. Of course. He stood beyond the last row like a shadow that still thinks it can convince the sun. Beside him, Ava, mouth set like a knife pretending to be a spoon. "We cannot ask them to leave," the manager said. "They are not disruptive." "No," I said. "Let them watch." I stepped onto the stage. My dress was the one I bought for court. Straight lines. No lace. Pockets deep enough for a pen and a phone and a folded spine that had learned to turn into a sword. "Thank you for coming," I said. 2 weeks ago, this room was supposed to hold a wedding. Tonight, it holds something I like better. It holds people who understand that dignity is not a dress you wear. It is a choice you lift. I paused. I did not look at the back. I did not hand them a line. "We raised funds tonight," I continued. "We also raised a story. When you leave, take a card. Give it to someone who thinks the story ends at the altar. Tell them it continues in rooms like this. With music. With names said correctly. With receipts. Laughter. Warm. Not cruel. The good kind that makes shoulders unlock." The band played. People danced. A small girl spun in shoes too big and did not fall. I watched her and felt a slackening in my chest I had not felt since the text. Ava approached. Alone. She held her clutch like a shield. "Congratulations," she said, voice sweet and salted. "You turned a pity party into a brand." "I turned a wound into a door," I said. She stepped closer. "You do not deserve him," she said. "You never did." "True," I said. She blinked. "What?" "He never deserved me either," I said. She laughed once, brittle. "You think this will last? Your shine? You will be old news next week." "I will be old and happy next decade," I said. "That is the news that lasts." She leaned in. "He will sue." "For what?" I asked. "For my card paying for his room? For his hand reaching where it should not? For the ring that briefly lost its owner and found itself again?" She faltered. It was small. It was real. Caleb tried next. "You made me look small," he hissed. "No," I said. "I made you look true." He swallowed. "I can fix this." "You will fix it with yourself," I said. "Not with me." Tamsin materialized at my side like a polite ghost that files on time. "Mr. Hale," she said to Caleb. "Our demand stands. Payment is due by Friday. If not received, we file in small claims for the deposits, and we attach the folio, the video, and your text messages." His eyes widened. "You cannot." "We can," she said. "We will." Ava grabbed his sleeve. "Leave," she snapped. This place smells like her victory. I prefer the word recovery, I said. They walked out. The door closed behind them like a sentence ending. I stared at the screen. The caption glowed. The comments multiplied like bees with purpose. Proud of Sorrel. Accountability matters. A few barbed replies tried to sting. They looked small next to the hive of kindness. Delia chuckled softly. Mothers, she said. They can be merciless surgeons when they finally put the lie on the table. Caleb's mother was not my ally 2 weeks ago. Tonight, she had moved her chair. People underestimate how fast a woman can change sides when the evidence cuts clean. We danced. We toasted with water because clarity has a taste. We wrote checks. We hugged without rehearsing. The band played a final song that sounded like a door locking and a window opening. After, in the quiet, the venue manager handed me an envelope. This came for you at the desk, she said. No return address. Inside lay a cashier's check for the exact sum of my deposits, rounded to the dollar. A note, consider this an apology from our family. Spend it on Joy. Not on him. It was signed with a first name only. Lydia. Caleb's mother. I did not cry. The body has a private place where tears go to learn patience. Mine had done enough. I smiled. I folded the note. I put it in my pocket next to the ring box. Tamsin clinked her glass against mine. You will still file, she said. We will accept the check as an interim gesture, not a settlement. Of course, I said. Lake leaned on the bar. One more thing, he added. Your maid of honor posted a story. She tagged the venue. She called tonight a scam. She says you faked the receipts. Nico snorted. The projector says otherwise. Do we respond? I asked. Not with a paragraph, Delia said. With a sentence. What sentence? I asked. She smiled. The sentence that closes a throat without taking a life. She typed on my phone. All evidence has been provided to counsel and to the venue. We wish Ava peace. She hit post. She handed the phone back. Now we block her. I did. The air lightened by an ounce. Maybe 2. A volunteer approached from the shelter. Bree. Bright eyes. Strong hands. She took my fingers in both of hers. You changed the month for us, she said. Our kitchen will feed people with names. Not numbers. That is the best sentence anyone has said to me in a long time, I murmured. We loaded flowers into cars for the shelter lobby. We stacked cards. We rolled cables. We left the ballroom as if it had always been meant for this. At home, I opened my mailbox. A letter from the court. Temporary protective order granted. Hearing set. I slept with the letter on my nightstand like a lighthouse. Morning brought a knock. Not Caleb. A courier. Service of small claims. Tamsin had filed at dawn. The hearing date was circled in red like something a teacher wants you to memorize. Caleb texted. We can settle. I forwarded it. Tamsin replied, he will offer less than owed. Decline. We hold. Ava emailed. Statement for your channel. Clarifying. I did not reply. The silence I gave her was the kind that grows moss and never gets sunlight again. I went to work. My boss called me into her office and closed the door. I watched your speech, she said. Not live. Someone sent it. I am sorry for what happened. She slid a folder across the desk. This is a promotion we have been circling. I was waiting for your wedding to pass. I am not waiting anymore. I opened the folder. New title. New salary. The word director on the line that used to be manager. I laughed. It was small and real and tasted like citrus. That night, I cooked pasta with garlic and greens and the kind of cheese that makes you forgive a day. Juniper came over. We ate on the floor. We watched a silly show. We did not say the names that had haunted the month. They had become rooms we no longer rented. The conference room had a glass wall and a bowl of hard candies that tasted like chalky fruit. Caleb sat on one side with a lawyer who looked like a man whose cologne was the word invoice. I sat with Tamsin. Delia waited in the hall with tea. The mediator began with the voice of a person who believes in chairs arranged in circles. "We are here to resolve a financial dispute," she said. "We are not adjudicating love." "Thank you," I said. Caleb's lawyer slid a paper across the table. "Our offer," he said. "Half the deposits. Mutual non-disparagement. No admission of wrongdoing." Tamsin did not touch the paper. "Our demand," she said, sliding nothing. "Full reimbursement. Fees. Public apology posted for 24 hours that states, I used Sorrel's card without permission for a hotel room on the day of our wedding. I am sorry. We will not require an admission on infidelity. Only on finance." Caleb's face changed color. "I will not confess to theft," he snapped. "You will confirm a charge error," Tamsin said smoothly. "And you will repay. Or we proceed to hearing with exhibits and witnesses." "Witnesses?" he sneered. "The bartender," Tamsin said. "The clerk. The bridesmaid. The mother who sent a check." He flinched. "We also have a copy of your text threatening reputation harm," she added. "Judges do not enjoy that flavor." Silence. Candy wrapper crackle. The mediator breathed like a yogi on a cliff. Caleb leaned forward. "Why are you doing this?" he hissed. "You could have spared me." "You were never mine to spare," I said. He stared at the table. "Fine," he muttered. "Full deposits. No apology." "Full deposits and fees," Tamsin said. "You keep the apology. We keep the hearing date." The mediator blinked. "Perhaps?" Caleb slammed his palm on the table. "Take the money," he barked. Tamsin smiled without warmth. "We will take the money and keep the date unless the apology posts." He folded. You could hear the paper in his chest crumple. 24 hours, he spat. "Pinned," Tamsin said. "No comments blocked. Screenshotted for the file." He looked at me then. A human look. Tired. Young. Cruelty does not erase youth. It just spends it early. "Did you ever love me?" he asked. "Yes," I said. "And then I loved me more." We signed. We stood. We walked out. Delia handed me tea. I held the cup and felt the heat of a life that had refused to chill. By evening, the apology post went up. It was plain. It was adequate. It was not contrition. It was compliance. That is often enough for law. Not for soul. The money hit my account the next morning. I transferred a portion to the shelter. Bree sent a photo of the kitchen blueprint with a sticky note that read, "Sorrel's stove." Ava posted a photo of a beach. Caption, "Fresh starts." Comments were divided between people who like waves and people who keep receipts. I did not reply. She was no longer a country I visited. Caleb moved out of our building. The landlord texted me a simple line that felt like a benediction. "His name is off the entry list." I took the ring box from my drawer. I opened it. The stone stared back like an eye that had learned something. I drove to the jeweler. I sold the ring. I took the cash. I bought a table. Heavy. Warm. Wood that welcomes elbows and friends who stay late. A table is a better vow than a diamond. Thanksgiving at the shelter did not smell like turkey. It smelled like cinnamon and coffee and onions and butter and a clean floor my boots liked. Bree hugged me. Welcome home, she said. The room filled with people whose plates were full and whose stories were long. I spoke for 5 minutes. Not about him, I began. About you. About me. About the getting up after the falling down. About the invoice for dignity, paid on the day you can afford it and the day you cannot. People nodded. A man wiped his cheek with the back of his hand and pretended it was itch. A girl in a red sweater squeezed my palm when I stepped down. I left last week, she whispered. I thought I was weak. Tonight I feel new. We served pie until our arms ached. We sat at my heavy table when the night quieted, Juniper and Delia and Nico and Lake and Bree and my mother and even the venue manager who showed up with a leftover centerpiece like a crown for a different kind of queen. I lifted my glass. Water. Always water. To doors, I said. Some we close. Some we open. Some we walk through with our hands shaking and our head high. They drank. They laughed. They argued about music. They asked if I would ever love again. I said yes. Not today. But yes. I stepped outside for air. The cold held me. My phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number, new and kind. I was a guest at your cancelled wedding, it read. I was embarrassed that day. I am grateful today. My daughter watched your speech. She left a bad man. Thank you for giving us a map. I stared at the words until they blurred into stars. I wrote back. You walked. You drew your own map. I put the phone away. I rejoined the table. I passed plates. I listened to stories that were not mine and felt mine grow lighter. Before we end, I will talk to you, the person listening in a kitchen, in a car, in a bed where the ceiling knows your questions. If someone calls you sensitive, tell them sensitivity is a smoke detector. If someone tells you to keep the peace, tell them peace without truth is a costume. If someone tries to spend your future like it is their card, freeze the account that matters most. Your name. If this story held your hand, tell me one boundary you will hold this week. Or tell me where you are listening from. I read every note. And if you want more stories where revenge is lawful, clean, and kind to the self, stay. We have more doors to close. We have more rooms to make bright.